I would ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing as we recognize those who have lost their lives abroad, fighting for this nation, and also here at home, especially James Donnery, Zelda Brewer, Dan Tracy, and Melissa Feaster. Thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody today. Do you have any public comment on the agenda items?
That's unfortunate, Pat. The agenda's downstairs.
Okay, well, all right, we'll get back to that, and I will come back to that soon. We'll move on to liaison and department head reports. Police will be a little later. Fire?
Fire. The chief I know is here.
Yes. Thank you.
Island Falls Fire Department hosted a meeting with the other departments in our battalion. That was last week. Those departments included Fort Montgomery, West Point, Cornwall, Cornwall-on-Hudson, Vales Gate, and New Windsor. Our police chief, as well as an officer from the ambulance corps, also attended. The topic was a discussion of the proposed construction of a new transloading facility in New Windsor, and how this might increase the flow of rail cars through our fire districts. The fire company has also provided us with copies of a proposed agreement between the Directorate of Emergency Services at West Point and the County of Orange. It outlines the agreement for mutual aid in fire protection and hazardous materials and hazardous waste incident response. The fire department is also this is a particular interest to the village, and Fire Chief Suarez may want to expound on it. The fire department is in the midst of a program to check and install smoke detectors. We currently have 300 in stock, and we'll be purchasing 300 more. That also was done with a special grant, right?
That goes with the grant money.
Steve, would you like to talk about this?
If you want to finish the paragraph there.
Okay. After the department is trained on the process, we'll go to homes and perform a check to determine if there are enough detectors in the particular homes. We'll check current detectors and replace them if needed. The new detectors will feature a 10-year battery that will last the life of the detector, so battery replacement will not be necessary. And best yet, Home Depot is giving us a 50% off the price of the detector, and also donated 2 ladders and 2 cordless drills. I think the big question for people viewing at home will be whose homes will be identified as receiving the detectors, or how to get in the program.
Fran Galou is getting a list of homes that are needed to be checked. We're starting with senior homes, the apartments, Wine Creek, things like that. And we'll check their homes, like I said, to make sure that there's enough smoke detectors in the house that should be in the house. We'll provide them with a small checklist of things throughout the kitchen. We're not going to check anything firematically. We're just going to check to make sure that, like I said, there's enough detectors in the homes to keep them safe. If they need to be replaced, if they have ones that need to be replaced, we'll do that as well. And like I said, life of the batteries, 10 years, so they won't ever have to worry about changing the detectors or the batteries. Once 10 years is up, the detector gets recycled, then new ones need to be installed. That's 10 years down the road.
Great program.
It's a good program, it's a very good program.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this.
You're welcome, it's our pleasure, it's our pleasure.
That it, John?
Yep.
Water.
I have it for you.
Okay. Building?
Building department, I got an email from John Hager. He hasn't had time to prepare something for us for tonight's meeting.
We do have, we're very close to finishing everything up on the demolition of 109 Center. And I would like to thank John Hager and staff for assisting us with that. Okay. I'm just going to mention a couple other ones. Main Street Committee, they're not here today, but they will start beginning with reports as well. The Economic Development Team, which has been put together. The Chamber of Commerce will be giving us regular reports now. Speaking of the Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development Team, as well as two other groups, we're putting under the Chamber of Commerce this time to build it and strengthen it. Because after talking to many people in the business community, we need a strong chamber to move forward, particularly with Main Street businesses as well as all the independent businesses throughout the village and the town. So I am asking all businesses, Tom Osa is reaching out, he right now is the president of the Chamber of Commerce. If we're not looking for dues, we're not looking for anything, we're looking for input and to register with the Chamber of Commerce so that we know who's here in the town. If you don't know how to get a hold of the head of the chamber, you can contact the village. Give us your information, we will get it to him. But it is imperative that we all work as a team, that we all work together or nothing's going to get done. Okay, those reports will be coming. Mayor's report. Last meeting was not televised. So I have to repeat one or two things. First of all, I appreciate the applause for my wife, and I've got to mention it because now it's on TV, and it is being DVR'd. I want to congratulate my wife, Anne Marie, on getting her master's in administrative for teaching for the goods. And also the boys did very well in the game again. Good job, boys. All right, moving on. We will be working on, we'll go right for the ESC during new business. You do have in your packets information on the Section 8 program. They will be at our next meeting on the 16th to present. Oh, I'm already moving right into discussion. All right, hold on for that. Mayor's report, finishing up. To all businesses, you're cordially invited to participate in the annual West Point Community Fair, Thursday, July 14th, 4 o'clock to 6:30 p.m. at Eisenhower Hall. This is for all businesses, also for churches. We are also invited, the boards, to talk about our village, to talk about the town. When I called the person in charge, Monica, today, it was very nice that she told us that this invitation is going out to all people in the village of Highland Falls and the hamlet of Fort Montgomery, but no further. It's not reaching out to Cornwall or Cold Spring, or actually a little bit on Cold Spring because they have a special relationship there, but not Stony Point, not Monroe. They have a certain amount of space, and they want to make sure that the town of Highlands is represented there, and I really appreciate them for making, understanding that, we need the spot there. And again, it's July 24th. You need to RSVP by the end of the month, June 27th. And if you need information on that, you can contact.
Clarification, please, on the date.
Clarification on the date. You need to RSVP by June 27th. The date is July 24th, Thursday, 4 to 6:30. I can give you this. This is the actual invitation. Okay. We had a very good day on Monday. Even though it is a Memorial Day, I believe it was very good. We had good attendance, but we also had good participation. I did thank people in the paper, but I did miss the ambulance corps, and I want to thank them in particular. They're always there for us. Also, just real quick, the American Legion, another great showing. Senator Larkin, Assemblyman Skoufis, Congressman Maloney's office was represented, the West Point Color Guard, West Point Brass Band, and the West Point Honor Guard. Sergeant Matthews, of course, is always at these events. The Highland Falls Fire Department, Fort Montgomery Fire Department, Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, O'Neill's JROTC, Reverend Judy, Reverend Carter, Herman Wright's Youth Drumline with Professor Kenwood Gennard, and also I need to thank Rotary for once again making sure the flags are present at all the cemeteries in the town for Memorial Day. And speaking of the same groups, June 14th, it's Flag Day. Please come and join the American Legion, the Cub Scouts, the Girl Scouts, JROTC, several other members as we burn the flags at Memorial Park. If you would, please drop your flags off at the police station, at the village, if you need them to be burned. And June 14th is the date. Going to our paper. If you don't pick up a paper, you are not informed. The blood drive is June 4th, 3 to 7:30 at the Highland Falls Firehouse. Vision is requesting anyone with any artistic ability to help refurbish their farmers market signs. And they are looking for someone to step up and take care of the Triangle Garden in front of Little Richie's place down in Fort Montgomery. Also, Father Jack Arlotta is leaving us shortly, and so if you haven't, go on up and just give him a big hug. He likes that. Okay, so please make sure you say thank you to Father for the many years that he's devoted to this community. He's done a phenomenal job. We've been very lucky in the last few priests that have been here, and Father Jack, in my opinion, in 42 years is one of the best. For 4th of July, the Independence Day Committee. I know many people have gotten their letters, and now you're waiting till the last minute. You don't have to. You can send that money in right now. We are rebuilding the funds. We are still shy. So we are asking, if you didn't get a letter, you can go ahead and send that donation in anyway. You can send it right to the village. We'll make sure that it gets to the Independence Day Committee. They're planning a lot of events, not only bringing back all the old events, but some new ones. So there's a lot of work going on. There's a lot of savings going on. A lot of the events, there's no cost, not only to go to, but to actually have. So they're not spending a lot of money, but they do need the basics for the bands, the fireworks, things like that. I also want to send out a special thank you to the Ambulance Corps. This past week and a half ago, they went around and visited the schools, all the schools in the community, and they went through the ambulance with the school children and also gave out bug kits, which they've been waiting on for years. So I want to thank the Ambulance Corps for, again, being very community-minded and looking out for the students. And that is all I have. Moving into discussion, right down to Mastriani and the Section 8 program. This has been a thing for me for 2 years. It is coming up to re-up. Before we do that, I want to make sure that we evaluate the program, make sure the community is getting what it needs. More importantly, I want to respond to what the community, a lot of the community members have asked. So he'll be at the next meeting. I would ask the board members to please read up on the material so that we can give them any questions that, and any concerns that we have. And be ready at the next meeting. Please talk to me if you need to. Be ready at the next meeting to make decisions on the program. Any other discussion on Section 8?
Yeah, is the whole program being considered, or is it just Master Marine, is that?
Mastriani.
Mastriani, yeah, Albany, right?
Yes.
You've been at it a long time.
Yep.
Is that,
It's a contract.
yeah, I know, and that the ranks have been coming down on the Section 8. I'm just wondering, if they didn't administer the plan, would there still be a plan
There
in,
would be a
Yes.
plan and the administration, the community will decide who will administer it.
would it go out to county?
It could go to the city, it could go to the county, it could go to the village itself. Or it could
We
come
used to run it.
Yeah, I know that.
And that's what we need to decide. There are several different options, as Bill just pointed out. County, a different group,
Right.
Mastriani's group, if we give them different parameters.
Right.
I personally am not happy with the numbers are still way too high.
Okay.
And, or we could administer ourselves. That's one thing I want to definitely discuss, because I believe, unless someone can tell me different, that we are going to be a little more vigilant on looking out on making sure everyone's following the rules.
Well, sometimes having somebody who has no affiliation with the person they're dealing with is good too.
We don't need to hire someone from here.
Well, that's what I mean.
Right.
I like the idea of somebody outside of the village managing the program, and that's kind of why it went where it went. This is,
Then we need to have some oversight with respect to, an agreement as to guidelines,
yeah,
an agreement as to enforcement.
right, that's the tough part.
Yeah.
Because that's,
Enforcement would be the most difficult.
yeah,
Is this a 1 year or 3 year when we re-up in July?
It was 3, I believe.
Right. So that's why I want to get on this now,
okay, right.
so that we don't have another choice for 3 years. It's the way it is. So if we want any changing, now, again, this is something that we can discuss, something we need to discuss over the next week and a half before the next meeting, so that we can make the right decisions.
Yeah, that's a tough.
I did also add under discussion, if we've brought it up a couple times. We did ask Gina to put a letter out today. It'll go out within the week for our insurance program. We've been looking into this for about a year to change insurance carriers, possibly. But Bob pointed out some of the legalities. We need to have notice, formal notice. Well, no, formal notice to our employees, a certain period of notice.
They need 90 days of police to tell them that we're anticipating changing.
So if we're gonna give them that notice now, go into further talks of what's best for the village, and this way, at least the 90-day clock is started, so that when we make a decision, 90 days is up, we can actually move on it without waiting another one. According to the numbers, we're looking at $80,000 to possibly $100,000 savings. So it's something we really need to consider, and the program, there's several things in the program that are better, several are the same, but there's also room that we can, of the money we're saving, which is what other towns have done, there's room where we can actually improve the program with some of the savings.
And this is the same program that the town has already adopted.
This is the same program the town has already signed on for, which again works for our, if we get everybody on the plan, it helps with our consolidation, in my opinion.
So they don't have too far to go to find out if it's working.
Exactly.
So,
And I have had several people from the town talk to me about the fact they're very happy with the program. I haven't heard any negatives, maybe they're just holding back, but I talked to 3 people and specifically who came to me and said, the program's great, you really should consider it. So, again, for the betterment of our employees and the betterment of the village. That's something I'd like to look at again, and if you guys have enough time to look it over and make decisions, we move to the next meeting.
I like the program, I just, Bill, do we have to formally send something to the PBA to let them know that of our intentions?
I don't know a contract with TVA. I'm
Right.
concerned actually with civil service,
Okay,
and that's where I look first. Make sure that you're complying with whatever their regulations or their contracts require. But I think basically the idea of the 90-day notice is a perfect idea.
yeah,
Well, we've also had meetings, we've had several meetings with the insurance company already for the employees, they've met here. A majority of our employees have had a question and answer period, as well as just an informational session. This is kind of a formal, we're planning on moving forward, we're gonna be discussing it. If anyone needs the name of the actual representative from the insurance companies, they can ask questions directly, please feel free. We'll get that information, I'll get that information to you as well.
This is just healthcare, right?
Just help me.
One of the times we want to start talking about liability as well. Our liability coverage, so that we can, maybe we can find a way to save some money.
That's actually, our liability insurance is on the docket for tonight. Just, wow, this is, but, the other thing, as far as if we're talking about, whether we have a couple people that may not want to go, that's also the beautiful thing about this insurance, I felt, was not everybody has to go. Even if we only get half, we're still gonna see a savings. So if we can get as many people to turn over as possible, personally, I'm not gonna force everyone to turn over. If someone has specific reasons and they're good enough, then if you wanna stay with, we have to keep a minimum number in night shift. Because we have had some flags raised of this company, that company, 2, 3 years, they may triple the rates. If we don't keep somebody in night shift, we can never go back to night shift. But as long as you keep one person in night shift, we can just pull everyone back into night shift. So, again, we're trying to save whatever nickels and dimes we can that are adding up to tens of thousands of dollars, which is good. Any other discussion on the insurance? Moving on to new business. I need approval of the minutes as written for the regular meeting May 19, 2014, and a special meeting May 29, 2014. Do I have a motion? Trustee Mellon, do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Brown, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. You have all the information in front of you for the chemical bids for the year 14-15. Are there any questions?
Yeah. Some chemicals just say no bid next to them, Kevin.
Yes.
They just don't provide that chemical for you no more, or is that?
Yeah, some, like Jones only does the 1 ton, and they want to do the sodium hydroxide. Everybody varies a little bit on
Okay.
what they want to get involved in anymore.
So the chlorine and stuff like that, you just get the different vendor,
Yeah.
vendor? Okay.
Usually, Perobo, chlorine gas, and the liquid, that all comes from Jones, but the other companies buy so much in bulk from them, they don't need to bid on it, because they're supplying the other companies already.
All right, so basically, I guess we don't really need any right now, and it's just, you didn't request a bid for it, or?
I put all our, there's a agenda sheet, there's a bid specification sheet that we recommend for water and sewer.
Okay.
And on the 3rd page, there's a cost comparison from what last year to this year is what the bids were for chemicals, what the cost was, the difference. Just a minor increase a little bit, just a few percent, that was it, which was very good.
Good? Any other questions? Okay, can I get a motion to approve chemical bids for the year 14-15?
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Murphy, seconded by Trustee Brown. All those in favor? All those opposed? I need a motion to approve the CDBG Cooperation Agreement Amendment and Municipal Resolution. I have 2 motions. I need a motion to authorize me to sign the amendment for the cooperation agreement and for the municipal resolution. Do I have a motion?
You do.
Charlie, do I have a second?
Second.
Bob? Do I need to read that? Gina, do I need to read this? You can just shake your head, no? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved.
The municipal resolution, need to define.
Resolution.
Sorry, say that again, Gene?
Need a roll call on your municipal resolution.
On the municipal resolution, not a problem. Do I need to read both pages, or just a roll call? Because I know they read it all already downstairs.
If everyone understands what it is that they're
Are there any questions? Would you like me to
on
read
the
the proposal?
resolution.
Would anyone like me to read the proposal over?
Yeah.
You got it, my friend. Municipal Resolution, Urban County, Village of Highland Falls. Resolution authorizing the Village of Highland Falls entering an agreement to the existing cooperation agreement dated June 26, 2012, as amended with the County of Orange for the purpose of undertaking community development and home programs for the program year commencing federal fiscal years 2015, 2016, 2017, and successive 3-year qualification periods as provided for the automatic renewal provision pursuant to the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended in Title II of the National Affordable Housing Act of 1990 as amended. Whereas the Secretary of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, authorizes under Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended in Title II of the National Affordable Housing Development and Affordable Housing Program, and whereas it is desirable in the public interest that the Village of Highland Falls participate in aforesaid community development and home programs for the program year commencing federal fiscal years 2015, 2016, 2017, and successive 3-year qualification period. Whereas Section 99 of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York grants to any municipal corporation the power, either individually or jointly with one or more other municipal corporations, to apply for, accept, and expend funds made available by the federal government, either directly through the state, pursuant to the provisions of any federal law which is not inconsistent with the statutes or Constitution of the state, in order to administer, conduct, or participate with the federal government in programs relating to the general welfare of the inhabitants of such municipal corporations. And whereas applications for grants to finance community development and affordable housing programs under the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974, as amended in the National Affordable Housing Act of 1990, as amended, and any eligible activities thereunder are not inconsistent with the statutes of the Constitution of this state. And whereas the village shall take all action necessary to assure compliance with the county's certification under Section 104B of the Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974, as amended regarding Title 6 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Fair Housing Act, and the affirmatively furthering fair housing. The county and the village shall also comply with Section 109 of Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974, which incorporates Section 504 of All Rehabilitation Act of 1973 and the Age Discrimination Act of 1975. Furthermore, the county and the village shall comply with all applicable New York State and federal laws and regulations. You with me, Tom? Yes. In addition, CDBG funding of activities in or in support of village is prohibited in the village, does not affirmatively further fair housing within its own jurisdiction of the or the village impedes county's actions to comply with county's fair housing certification, village shall indemnify, defend, or hold harmless county from any non-compliance with affirmatively furthering fair housing by village that result in funding sanctions or other remedial actions by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development and or the federal government against county. Still with me? Yes. Whereas the village as a cooperating unit of local government has adopted and is enforcing A policy of prohibiting the use of excessive force by law enforcement agencies within its jurisdiction against any individual engaged in nonviolent civil rights demonstration, and B, a policy of enforcing applicable state and local laws against physically barring entrance to or exit from a facility or location which is subject to of such nonviolent civil rights demonstrations within jurisdiction. Whereas participation of the County of Orange as an urban county in the community development and home programs require the Village of Highland Falls and the County of Orange cooperate in undertaking or assisting in undertaking community renewal and lower income housing assistance activities. Specifically, urban renewal and publicly assisted housing pursuant to said act, specifically those activities authorized by statutes and pursuant to Articles 9 and 17 of the New York State Constitution. And whereas the county and the Village of Highland Falls will cooperate in developing community development and affordable housing programs and applications of the Community Development Block Grant Entitlement Program and the Home Investment Partnership which will be designated primarily for the purpose of meeting and the priority needs and objectives of the participating localities based upon an inventory of the community development and housing needs, developed mutually by local and county officials. Whereas village may not sell, trade, or otherwise transfer all or any portion of such funds to another such metropolitan city, urban county, until a unit of general local government or Indian tribe or insular area that directly or indirectly receives CDBG funds in exchange for any other funds, credits, or non-federal considerations, but must use such funds for activities eligible under Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974. This requirement is contained in the Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development and Related Agencies Appropriations Act of 2014, whereas the Village Board deems it to be the public interest of the Village of Highland Falls to enter into an amendment to the existing cooperation agreement dated July 8th, 1993, as amended with the County of Orange of the aforesaid purpose. Now, therefore be it resolved that the mayor be and he hereby is authorized and directed to execute a cooperation agreement amendment between the Village of Highland Falls and the County of Orange for the purpose of undertaking community development and home programs pursuant to the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended in Title II of the National Affordable Housing Act of 1990, as amended for the program year commencing federal fiscal years 2015, 16, and 17. Broken down, this amendment, correct me if I'm wrong, allows us to pursue the grant for the CDBG for the money for the Senior Citizen Center. That's why we're doing this. Any other questions? This will not be reread.
You need a motion.
I need a motion.
You got it.
I have a motion from Charlie Murphy, second from Mr. Brown. All those in favor?
A roll call?
We need a roll call, is what we need.
Trustee Mallon? Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Murphy?
Aye.
Mayor Flynn?
Aye. A lot of those words in there. Let's sign that. All right. I need, you have the documents in front of you for the approval of the 2014-2015 insurance rates. Before we motion on that, would you like to give a quick report?
briefing on it.
Please. Ed has prepared the papers on this, and again, going above and beyond, and I appreciate the efforts to try and get us the best rates possible.
Okay, the village board met with our carrier, and we went out for 6 different insurance agencies, and we're no quoted on 2 or 3 of them. Another one was no response, and then we had 2 remaining. The 2 remaining, one was a conditional quote and the other was our current carrier. Now, just so the board knows, the big issue right now with our municipal insurance, or there's 2 issues, but the big problem with the insurance and getting some of the no quotes is the dam. And the fact that the liabilities that are caused by the dam and the village being downstream from that dam, especially after the recent hurricanes and storms, a lot of insurance companies are looking at this very heavily now because they suffered a lot of losses related to this. So that's affecting some of our no quotes where maybe in previous years we might have received them, we're not getting them now. One of the firms was willing to quote, but their requirements were that we have an emergency action plan in force, which is going to be discussed later on in the agenda. The second is there's a lot of brush and foliage in the dams that need to be removed. I guess this year, because of the hard winter, the staff weren't able to get up there. Their quote was only about $1,000 lower than the current carrier, but the overall quote was $20,000 higher than last year, which amounts to about a 15–18% increase. Now, the big hits there are the dam, which is about a $5,000 additional surge, premium, and police professional liability had almost a $10,000 increase due to some claims way back that are still being considered. And the insurance companies, I guess there have been some cases in the region that has cost them a lot of money. They're now focused on that also. So the one thing I think that I'd recommend the board consider is reviewing some of those claims, because that is affecting your rates dramatically. The other thing I'd ask the board also to consider for budgetary purposes next year is, when we talk about the dams, that probably is a responsibility of the water department, that liability insurance, and not the whole general fund. So we might need to relook at that because of its focus as to how we apportion our insurance payments. My recommendation is to renew with the current company, CNA. We don't get a lot of, it'll cost us a lot more money to remove all of that brush. I know, Kevin, you had mentioned that going forward in the fall or in the winter, they'll be attacked, and that brush should be removed. Also, there was discussion about getting the report on the dam condition, because obviously the insurance companies look at the condition of the dam as part of their underwriting. It seems to be a big focus, so might as well respond to it. But like I said, my recommendation is to go with the current firm. It's one of two options, and if there's no questions, it's really all I have related to insurance.
Excellent. Other questions?
No, do you recommend staying with the same firm, Ed, even if it's comparable price or a few $1,000s more or less?
The problem is the coverages with CNA are better. There's lower deductibles, and the savings is $1,000, and that brush removal will cost you several thousand alone in time and effort if we contract that out. As Kevin said, there's a lot of hazards out there right now because of where it's located. Snake bite kits and other things would probably be required if you're up there now. So yeah, I think that at this point, that's your best bet financially. But there probably requires further discussion about why the rates were increased and things that you can control.
Also, Ed had mentioned follow-up on this is not only, which Kevin has said his group is going to move on that, is being proactive on the dam, finding out what actual issues there are so they can be corrected, and working with Kevin and Fusco, Al Fusco, to pinpoint those problems, correct them, but also on the police end, make sure that we are being proactive as far as training and everything, and a lot of other things, not only to lower our insurance, but so the officers are better prepared to deal with situations in the village.
Okay.
Before you take off, again, only because we weren't able to let the people at home know, I know you're not prepared for it because I didn't ask you, but if you could give us a brief description of our bond rating improvement. Because this wasn't.
Well, yeah, that's fine. As I mentioned last meeting, I had a meeting with the analysts, phone conference for Standard & Poor's, who are reviewing our financial status. The News of the Highlands covered it quite well as far as the piece that was written on that. At the end of the day, and I'll report on the results because we already have results from that, and that is that we were moved from a A+ rating to a AA-, which is a one tick up upgrade. For the main issue there is borrowing money. If we borrow money, we normally will see better rate opportunities, and in our case we did, tremendously better. The other advantage with these ratings is that it gives a good feeling from the investors that the village is a good debt risk. They did point out the one big Achilles heel for the village, which is probably known to most people, and that is the debt weakness. But they did feel that overall management's plan, discussions as to how to budget, discussions as to how to properly set up our debt plan and how to set up how we spend the taxpayers' money, in addition to the economy, the demographics, they felt it was a positive decision to move the bond rating up. It's not happening in many different areas. It's actually bond ratings are proportionally going down versus up in municipalities, again because of that. But good for the village. I'll segue to the bond anticipation note. We decided, with the village's support, to go out with a public offering of our debt. We consolidated 2 bonds that are due in the next couple days. That amounted to $692,500 in debt refunding and refinancing, and 6 firms bid on the debt, where previously only 2 did. And out of those 6 firms, the firm that actually won the bid was 100 basis points or 1% lower in their rate from the lowest bidder, which currently holds the note. So in essence, that's about over a $5,000 interest rate savings for 3/4 of a year. The rate was actually below 1%, which is tremendous. Actually, the financial firm that assisted us with this offering was very pleased with the result. We should be. It's 5,000 taxpayer dollars now that aren't going to pay interest. They're going to be able to pay for other things. I feel very positive about the fact that as we consolidate all of our debt into one note, like our serial bonds, that we should potentially enjoy this type of rate. And on over $1.8 million, which is about where our number is going to be, the savings could touch almost $20,000 just in interest payments. So I think it's a good course that the village board's taking. The bond increase that Standard & Poor's gave us certainly helped, made it very attractive. 6 bidders. I'll give you some of the companies: Jeffries, Roosevelt and Cross, Oppenheimer and Company, J.P. Morgan, Greene County Commercial, and Orange County Trust. Household names in finance that are bidding on our debt. So again, I think it's very important that we are a player to get the better rates, and the more we do in the village financially to get there, the better it off is for the taxpayer.
Thank you so much.
Okay, welcome.
A lot of different avenues were taken. Some, when you hear 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, you may say, was it worth it? But as Ed is saying, when we work the whole picture, just the refinancing, possibly $20,000. Again, not doing any real additional work, not taking it. It's a lot of work actually, but it continues. We continue to pull savings from areas that weren't being pulled for in the past. And I appreciate all their efforts. All right, so at this time, if I could get a motion to approve the 2014-2015 insurance rates from CNA.
Make that motion to approve the CNA.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. All right, you have the paperwork in front of you for to remove the planning board member. We had a request from the planning board to remove a member due to residency requirements. Are there any questions on that? No? I have a motion from trustee Mellon. Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Unless it's a question, we can discuss it.
The individual
Does not reside in this community.
Oh, okay. Then I'll second it.
You don't have to vote for it by seconding it. Just brings it up for discussion.
Exactly. Thank you. Is there any discussion on it, Charlie? You want some clarification?
Well, the address stated it is in Highland Falls, and yet the individual does not live here?
Correct.
Okay.
Everybody wants a Highland Falls address. Let's be serious. Yes, he does not live here. They own property, but not live. Any other questions? I have a motion? Do I have a second? Second from Charlie Murphy. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. All right. We have I need a motion to approve the resolution the budget amendment, which I believe is resolution of the Village of Highland Falls Board of Trustees, 2013 and 14, budget amendment. Whereas there is an anticipated sewer revenue of $100,454.54, whereas an insurance recovery for storm damage at the wastewater treatment plant due to Hurricane Irene has resulted in unanticipated revenue of $73,345.91, and whereas these funds will offset the cost of repairs to the sanitary sewer system. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve the following amendment to the 2013-14 budget. Increase G.000.2120 sewer rents of $100,454.54. Increase G.000.2680 sewer insurance recovery of $73,345.91, and increase G.8120.0400 sanitary sewer contractual, the amount of $173,345.91. Roll call. Do I have a motion to approve the budget amendment?
A motion.
We need, let's a motion to approve it, and then once we have the motion second,
Motion.
we can talk. Motion? Do I have a second? Discussion. Charlie?
Is there a mathematical issue?
Is he still here?
Yes, there could be.
Because there's 100,454 in the sewer revenue and 73,345 cents. And then the total is 173,345. Is it 450 short or?
Should be, the numbers should add up.
Right.
If there's
It
a
is
mistake on the
That is
paper,
a mathematical.
there might be an error. But the numbers should add up to the TAM bill. That's what you're doing a budget amendment to.
Right,
I don't have the paper in front of me, otherwise I'd give it right to you.
So
Basically, what-
it needs to add up to 173,345.
Correct, the TAM bill.
Right.
So the insurance number is set. The increase to the sewer fund is going to be the difference between the TAM bill minus
All right, so
insurance.
it just needs to be 100,000 then. Not,
I'd have to pull the paper.
It's right
let me
here.
see. Pull it. I'm saying 100,000. 20 bucks. Who's with it? 20 bucks. Who's paying?
Sanitary sewer contractual, 173,845 cents. Is that what you have?
173,345.
0.91 cents.
Yeah, it should be 173,845 cents. It looks like what happened is when this was typed up, the number was repeated.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the last line.
You have the same number for both figures. I think it just was a miss.
Got it.
Well, essentially what you're doing is the TAM bill is the bottom number, 173,845.
And that's accurate.
And then the sewer insurance recovery is fixed, 73,345.91. And then the net is going to be the sewer rent increase. And that should be 104.54.
So we want to have an amendment to the resolution to cover the move.
Did we have to pass this resolution then amend it, or amend it right now?
Amended
As a result
to,
of discussion, amend the resolution.
Done.
Amend the last line.
As a result of
173.
discussion, we are amending the last line, the increase G.8120.0400 sanitary sewer contractual to $173,800.45.
Okay.
Good? Good? Roll call.
Roll call, trustee Mellon?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Mayor Flynn?
Aye.
What you'll see is on the second page, which is the approval page, the numbers there is correct. It was just a transposition issue. So you got the three adjustments on the back page.
All right. We have a resolution for 2013, 2014 budget amendment. We've done that. We have a resolution for refinancing vans.
We had that discussion.
What's that?
We had that discussion on the treasurer earlier.
Yes, we did. Do I have a motion to accept the resolution?
Yes.
Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Brown. Roll call.
Trustee Mellon?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Okay.
Trustee Murphy?
Aye.
Mayor Flynn?
Aye. Okay. We have a resolution for vehicle and traffic. Whereas the Board of Trustees is authorized and empowered to make and amend by resolution and any rule or regulation for the reasonable control of traffic on the public streets of the village pursuant to section 108-3 of the Code of the Village of Highland Falls. Now therefore it is resolved by the Board of Trustees as follows. This is a type 2 action under secret. This section 108-57, schedule 8, stop intersections be amended as the following, be deleted. Stop sign on Sweezy Avenue, direction of travel east at intersection of Prospect. This section 108-58, schedule 9, yield intersections be amended and the following be added. Yield sign on Sweezy Avenue, direction east at intersection of Prospect. Be it further resolved that the foregoing amendments as contained in this resolution shall come effective immediately upon publication of same in the official newspaper of the village. Do I have a motion to accept the resolution?
Motion to accept.
Second? This doesn't mean we're agreeing to, we're just, so we talk. And a second by Trustee Mellon. Discussion. Any questions?
Yeah, what?
Change your
caused
stop
the
sign or yield
change?
sign.
Yeah.
What caused the change? A request from actually an officer that's been dealing with the issue for years, felt that it was a better situation to have the yield sign than the stop sign because it was causing, do you know where it is? You know what I'm talking about?
They-
Coming down? It's an ongoing issue and they, him and others have felt that for better traffic flow, a yield sign would serve better than a stop sign.
So would it be fair to say that after an extended period of study, that it's a period of,
It would be fair to say.
Right, Chief?
Right, coming off of West going down to Prospect. Any other questions?
I spoke with Sergeant Lavelle about it, we went up there and we came to an agreement with the police chief and everything, it will offset a lot of headaches and make more sense.
And that's what we're trying to
And
do.
we're gonna
We're-
put a child at safety play because of the area due to the
Kevin,
nature
there
of the
is one of
neighborhood.
those signs already, the child that play right at the T there,
Yeah.
so.
And that's what we have been doing over the last year is evaluating. That's why we put up several stop signs. The DPW right now is in the middle of actually putting all the white lines at the stop signs. You'll be noticing that over the next couple of days. The majority of the village will be done as far as at stop signs having the white lines there, which again is only going to help with the people understanding it's a stop. We're looking to also bring more visual cues to the signs, not just stop signs, but other signs. So we are looking, we're being pretty aggressive with the DPW on correcting any signage and improving it. Any other questions? Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. I need a roll call.
Trustee Mellon?
Aye.
Trustee Brown? Trustee Murphy?
Aye.
Mayor Flynn?
Aye. Another resolution to support the consolidated funding application. Before we even think about doing this, I have to thank Gina, and I have to thank Charlie, and I have to thank Mr. Fusco for getting this done in time and making these things happen. It's not done yet,
Oh,
but
no, that one's done.
this
That's
one's
the-
done?
No, the CDBG is
Right.
done.
Oh, this
This
is
is a
for the
different
16th?
Yeah, Al
This was
Fusco is
another one.
involved in.
Al is not. Al is not. But Gina and Charlie are. Let's get that down. This one's for the 16th. Another grant application. So resolution of the Village of Highland Falls Board of Trustees in support of consolidated funding, CFA, yes, consolidated funding application. Whereas the Village of Highland Falls actively pursues grant opportunities, whereas New York State Department of State is soliciting applications for funding sources through the consolidated funding application. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Highland Falls, in its capacity as governing body of the Village of Highland Falls, does hereby support and concur in the submission of a consolidated funding application and authorize the mayor of the Village of Highland Falls to sign the necessary paperwork needed for the submission of this grant application. Do I have a motion?
Motion, but
I got you. Second?
Second.
Discussion?
Gina, could you strike in the second whereas New York State is soliciting, not just the Department of State?
Yeah, the New York State Department of State. It's
Okay.
one of state. That's correct, right?
It's much broader than that
Exactly.
one agency.
Yeah. Cool? Do I need to reread it or?
As
or-
amended.
Good enough then. I have any other questions, any other? Nope. I have a motion, I have a second, can I get a roll call?
Roll call, trustee Mellon,
Aye.
trustee Brown,
Yay.
trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Mayor Flynn.
Aye. I do want to, we had a department head, I'm sorry. Not a problem. We had a department head this past week, and I did thank Chief Scott. We're talking about grants. We're writing quite a bit at this point. The chief has written several a year. We didn't get one, he's going after 3 more. Though I'd like to get them all, it's the effort, and you get better and better as you go along. He has gotten several for quite a bit of money in the past years, and that's what we're moving for all our department heads to start working on. So I would like to thank Chief Scott for doing that. At this time, I need a motion to authorize the mayor to sign an emergency action plan for Cragston Lake dams. You have that paperwork in front of you. Are there any questions? Do I have a motion? Only 2 of you, someone's got to do it. I have a motion from Charlie, do I have a second?
Second.
Questions? Comments? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All opposed? Get loud, it's a good time. So moved. Wake it up. Engineer for special projects. Is there a motion? Do we need action on this memo, Gina?
Yes, if you decide to send someone to the conference and you're gonna expend the funds.
Oh, that's that one, okay. I wasn't sure when I read it here.
Rob, no one interested in going?
It was short notice this year, but yeah, I would be interested in going to that next year. In the cards, and we're still
You don't need it to
Opt out.
When is the meeting?
I think it's this week.
It's Thursday, so.
Yeah, so we gotta go for it. But we do have someone that is interested in going, correct?
I've expressed my reservations to that.
I understand, but unless Mr. Brown comes back, Bill has pointed out, as long as you express your reservations, you're fine to vote. Are you okay voting?
She doesn't want to vote, it's okay.
I vote no.
Oh, I didn't know you were voting no. I got you, all right. Do you want to wait for Mr. Brown to come back? I'd like to wait for Mr. Brown to come back. So we will wait on that. We'll come back to this one. I need a motion to approve the bills and claims for the year 13-14 in the amount of $194,759.29.
Could you repeat
How
slower?
much?
Sorry?
Repeat that slower, please?
You got it. I need a motion to approve the bills and claims for the year 13-14 in the amount of $194,759.29.
I make that motion to pay the bills.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I need another motion to accept the bills for the fiscal year 14-15 in the amount of $120,000 $120,083.51. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Before we move on to public comment, and we'll try to go back to the one if we can, I do want to just take a second. People don't realize what goes on day to day down in the village, and I do want to take a second and thank Gina and the clerks for the hard work they put in day to day. People don't realize how much is done. People don't realize the extra hours put in, the extra effort. I do also want to thank Kevin for his fantastic camera work, because he stopped doing close-ups of me, and I appreciate that. We haven't seen Anthony, we haven't seen Anthony Farina in a couple weeks. I just want to let you know he was injured. He will be back. He's doing better, but that's why he hasn't been able to be here. He is being kept up to date on all the information, and we are getting feedback from him as well. We are going to come back to this in a second, but right now, we are going to come back to it right now. I have a memo from the engineers for special projects. We have that. It may be moved, everyone might vote no, who knows? But there is a conference coming up, Mr. Brown, on Thursday, and our engineer for special projects would like to attend. It is it's this paper right here, the American Defense Community. It's a big gathering in Washington, and it's this Thursday. He's looking, the fee is $745.
It would be $945.
If we joined, $945 would not. It's $945 because we're not a member. So it'll be $945 for the conference. Did you want to take a second to look this over? And we'll go through public comment. All right, we're going to move into public comment. Public comment. No? Board comment. James.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just a couple quick questions. I arrived a little late, I don't know if you guys want to know this.
Just real quick, Mr. Ramus, for those who don't know, is the head of our planning board. I do want to let Jim know that we will now be having planning board reports. Mr. Mellon is the planning board liaison now, and working with the planning board, we will work to get more information out to the community, because it's not a restricted meeting. If you guys want to see a sharp board meeting, you want to go to the planning board. They're doing a phenomenal job on the major project going on right now, and I want to thank them. Mr. Ramus, please.
Thanks. This is on the agenda items. I see you passed a resolution for consolidation funding application. I was just wondering what the application is for.
Charlie.
The CFA application?
Consolidated funding application.
It's, well, we're hoping that it will be a priority project for the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council. That gives you an extra 20 points. It's a Main Street grant, and the way it might qualify is if it has veteran entrepreneurship associated with it. So we're giving it a shot. The only part of the village that actually qualifies for the median household income for most of these grants happens to be our Main Street up Mountain and a little bit of 9W. It's a long shot, but I've gotten very positive feedback in terms of meeting the goal of occupying stores with veterans and doing a component of workforce training for entrepreneurship, and contacting the various schools to see if they can offer that program. And with luck, it will turn our proximity to West Point into an advantage, if they will help support it too. There's a business development meeting tomorrow, and that group is members of the community plus the members of West Point.
Sounds great. Good luck in your endeavor.
Well, we'll hope.
It just.
You
need
can't tell by
clar-
the name.
Yeah, I just need a clarification. And then, as far as the Claxton Lake thing, where is that located?
The Cragston Lake Dam,
Yeah.
near Cragston.
Is that-
Elaborate?
That's on
It's-
Aristo's property back in there?
No, there's 4 dams, they're all part of West Point. 3 of them were up behind the high school, the 4th one is the lower one in Cragston and Crystal Lake. They're called the Crystal Lake dams. We do have the emergency action report. I keep in contact with West Point before we have storms coming, and I do have them drain it, as do Crystal Lake is drained down due to the inflow of that, so it doesn't affect the lower part of Cragston, the trailer park, because of the outcome of it. But we do have an action plan. I've been in West Point on numerous occasions. I do have a plan up there, but that's where they're located, they're called.
So we don't maintain those?
No, that's all government, and the other one is privately owned, but we keep in constant contact. Before storms, after storms, we have them lowered, so it doesn't affect the village or lower part of Cragston, that's where it's gonna be mainly affected, is on Old State Road.
Kevin, is that the dam between the car wash and Aristo's property back
That's
in?
one there,
Yeah,
and the other 3 are behind the high school by Morgan's Farm. When you
right,
go
up
to
in the top
street.
there, between your, okay.
They all cascade down across 9W by Nicole's,
Yep.
in through there. They're a hazard when we have big storms coming.
Now, the Cragston Dam, are they all called the upper lower Cragston Dam?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
Kevin, I have the EAPs down in communications also.
yeah, I have that too. Yep.
We weren't spending money on something that we didn't.
No,
Exactly.
that's all the government.
The better, more information out, the better. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
I've been in contact with Fran Blue, and been talking to her that I have a young man that's in carpentry, a couple of them that will paint, and I'm giving her all that information.
Excellent.
that-
Thank you.
that help us out. I have another thing, people offering stuff, like a microwave, a couch, a chair, toasters. I want you to find a place we can put them, store them.
Well, I was talking to Joan about this, I didn't know, Kevin, as far as, we're trying to kind of coordinate this.
Yeah.
The leaks have been resolved this week, is that the deal?
I talked to Fran today. I gotta meet her probably there on Friday to assist with some other debris removal in there.
Right,
And the water meter has to be changed out, it cracked.
right, she told me that, yeah.
And I've been helping her with the other stuff. I'll have an update for you probably. I'll touch base with her again tomorrow.
Okay.
Is it safe to store stuff in the building?
In that back room, is that an issue, going out the back door, going?
Yeah, they're not touching anything in there, right?
Well, the only thing we'd be doing is the floors, and then, eventually it's gonna, as soon as we can prove that there's no leaks and everything's fine, then we don't have to dig up the floor or anything.
Let Fran do the work they got planned this weekend, and then we
Fran
can.
said no,
Fran said no, meaning she doesn't want it stored in the building?
no.
Then.
Well, we're okay with it being stored in the building unless there's a problem.
Well, the only thing is the floors have to be done, so
Yeah, but if we put it in the back room, start on the one
then
end.
we'll be moving around, it's counterproductive. Are you gonna lose these items if we don't have a place for them
Yeah.
right away, Joan?
Yeah. That, they're willing to give it.
Yeah, the couch is probably the big item.
And another table, kitchen table is another, yeah.
Most of the stuff we put on top of the counter,
Yeah.
except
The
for the
microwave.
Yeah.
couch.
Do you know what the contents are? You said a couch, TVs, and microwave?
There's 2 TVs, a couch, a chair, a microwave, a toaster, I forget.
Okay, what we're gonna need to do is, one, we're gonna need a list.
Mm.
2, we're gonna have to make sure it's,
We'll make arrangements.
well, we have to make sure, you have to check it out first before we accept it, because we're accepting it as a village. So there's a procedure.
And you're gonna have to pick it up, too.
Hey, only if you have the other end. You
You pick it
got
up.
the other end, I got the other end,
Where is it,
okay?
Joe?
You and me.
What?
Where is it?
Down in Tarrytown.
Okay.
I want to thank, yeah, I'm not going, I thought you were saying the village, I'm not going to Tarrytown. I want to thank everyone stepping forward and helping out. Once the floor is done and the leaks are set, obviously, hope the floodgates open. And Fran and Joan and anyone else involved, it's time to start making the Christmas list, the wish list of what you want in there, and see if we can't get people to respond. Okay, thank you very much for your
Handicap
efforts.
bathroom.
What's that?
Handicap bathroom.
Someone's giving us that?
No.
Oh,
you need to
all right,
put
I
it
thought you
in.
were, I thought we had to pick it up.
That's our job,
Oh,
to put it
okay.
in. Yeah,
We're on that.
yeah.
It's one of the grants we're working on. Okay. Board comment. Charlie.
One comment. Well, in terms of conferences, Maureen Arias and I attended the infrastructure grant that was sponsored by my old gang, Pattern for Progress. It was a very worthwhile conference. Had an opportunity to talk to two old friends who were there as district directors and aides to Congressman Sean Patrick Maloney. And they have now received all the information about our census problems, and I'm hopeful that maybe something can be done so we qualify for some more of these grants that we've been ruled out of because we are allegedly too wealthy a community.
Nice.
And we are pursuing the CFA grant funding and the priority proposal line. I've gotten really positive feedback largely because of the veterans' involvement. Tom Osa will be here tomorrow, and he's a computer whiz, and he's agreed to help us load things into the computer, which for my purposes is the scariest part of grant writing. That's about it.
Mr. Brown. Mr. Mellon.
I went to Troy and I had the benefit of attending a planning board meeting the other night, and I just wanted to say that I thought that they were doing a terrific job, and if there's any questions on this new project, maybe they should attend the meetings because it's, I was impressed how well the meeting they run and very thorough, and they got a pretty good board, and they're going over all the issues, and I think they're doing a great job up there. It's a good project, and there's hurdles to go over, and I think that they're doing that, and I don't think they're missing anything. They're a pretty thorough bunch, so if you have any questions on that project or want to know more about it, I suggest you attend the planning board meeting because that's the place to go at this point in time.
Fantastic. And since Bob brought it up, just on the hotel project, there's a lot of discussion going on throughout the community. I want to make it very clear, this same statement will go out periodically at our meetings. This board as a whole, meaning all members, are in favor of and back this project. The one thing we are looking out for now is to where we are working on negotiations with Churchill Properties on the $1.6 million abatement that they've asked for. We have not slowed the project up in any way. We have not thrown any hurdles in the way of the project at all. Nor has the planning board, nor has any group of the village. So just to clarify, we are all looking forward to this project. We want to see it happen, but the key is we want to see it happen right. We do have concerns. They have not held up the project whatsoever. The planning board has been excellent in making sure everything is being done correctly, and that's what we want. We want the hotel, but we want to make sure we're safeguarding the taxpayers that live below it, as well as all the taxpayers that will be paying for issues that may arise if we don't do this properly. I know that we have the support of the hotel behind us in doing this project correctly. And again, as Bob said, if you have questions, the planning board is pretty much 99.9% of what's going on with this project. Come to a meeting, contact the planning board member, do what you have to do, but please, the worst thing we can do is spread incorrect information through the community. So before you tell someone what you heard from someone else, make sure it's the correct information. Just a reminder, Flag Day will be the 14th, that is before our next meeting, on Saturday. Please get your flags to the police department for pickup. Don't forget about the blood drive coming up the Highland Falls Fire Department, and please make sure you pick up a paper, because that's our main source of information for the community. To be informed means we're moving in a positive direction. We are going to move back to the find it. We're going to move back to the memo from the engineer for special projects. And this is, I need a motion to approve $945 so that our engineer for special projects can attend the American Defense Community's big gathering in Washington this Thursday. Do I have a motion? I have a motion, Mr. Brown. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Questions, comments? Charlie Murphy.
Well, I'm fond of holding everyone's feet to the fire about not spending money on conferences. This one is good, but because so much depends on cooperation from West Point, I would like to see how we advance with the two committees that have been set up. And in the meantime, I would encourage the board to join the Defense Communities Association, which we were going to do last year, and for some reason we didn't. And that way we may have access to the proceedings documents that come out of these conferences. And we can read them online, which is not very exciting. And we lose the networking aspect, but for those reasons, I'm not supporting this.
Okay.
And I will be held to pay.
I agree with you 100%, though I do agree that we need to make, it's time we make some more moves to move forward. We need to invest some more money in the positive progress. I understand exactly your reserve on our relationship and what we have gotten out of it, and to have more in place, but I think that we will get a lot out of this, and our representative is very aggressive in the information gathering, so I think this will be a good thing, so I am going to support it. Any other comments? At this time I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? I'm in favor. Mr. Brown? Opposed or for?
Nay.
Nay. It's 2 for, 2 against. Motion doesn't carry. I am going to, we'll come back to the next meeting with a motion to join the group, because this is a very important group to be a part of, particularly with our location. With that, I need a motion to move an executive session to discuss negotiations and individual personnel matters. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to move.
Trustee Mellon, do I have a second? Gina, am I remiss on the financial form accounting right here? We still need to do that?
That's informational.
That's just informational, Charlie.
Oh, okay.
Seriously? What is it? Ooh. All right,
Did I get a
I have a
second?
motion. Do I have a second to go in executive session? To go in executive session. Thank you very much. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Tony, were you waiting on something? That happens often. If we don't do something, people are waiting on us.